Hi, this is Tara. Welcome to the first episode of PodMax, the Moneymax podcast for all things work, life, and finance. So every week we will feature a Money Maxer who will share their life story. And because of our current situation, we came up with today's segment called A Day in the Life Quarantine, wherein we will explore what life has been like for our Money Maxers, how they are coping, what are their challenges, and a tip or two that they could share to the listeners. Because in the end, we are hashtag alone together. So without further ado, please welcome our first ever guest, our campaigns manager, Jessica Tan. Woo!
Hello.
Welcome, Jessica, to PodMax.
Glad
Can,
to be here.
can you share a little about yourself and what you do at MoneyMax?
Okay. Hello. I'm Jessica. As Tara said, I'm the campaign manager. So, what I do in MoneyMax basically is I run all of the campaigns online. So that's Facebook, Google, and everything else. That's it in layman's term. I mean, if I were to explain that to my parents, that's what I would say.
The ads master.
Yeah.
Okay, so welcome to A Day in the Life Quarantined. Why don't you walk us through your day? Like, what is your day like now?
My day, my days are actually very boring in the sense. So I'm pretty straightforward.
Yeah,
I
it's
wake
fine.
up at 8, take a bath, and then I get to work. So that's straightforward. So, um, yeah, I get in, I time in by 8:30. I have my bowl of oatmeal with me and I'm eating as I'm getting started. And then usually at the start of the day, just to get me in the right like headspace for work,
Yeah.
I list down all of the things that I have to do. So it gives me an idea of sort of like a direction towards my day or towards what my day is going to look like. So
Mm,
I be sure to have like a separate space in terms of where I work
mm,
and where I spend my my after work. So like for example, if I'm working, I have my like set up my laptop, my
yeah.
mouse, and everything. And then if it's for example lunchtime, I close it or I set it aside just so that it's not intermingling too much with my life. I
Mm,
mean, they say work-life integration, right? But uh, I need to maintain some semblance of a divide
yeah,
between the
a
two.
separation. I think
Yeah.
that's a really good tip. I mean, yeah, to not eat in front of
Yeah.
your screen and like as simple as closing it gives you that
Mm-hmm.
um divide. Okay. So what is it what do you look forward to? Because now the working situation is different. You say you start at 8:30, you eat your
Mm-hmm.
breakfast, you write down your task for the day. But like, what do you look forward to? Because you don't have to go to work physically anymore. So
Yeah. Well, it's good that in MoneyMax we have that work from home in, work from home out. So we have like a log in and out. So it's easy for me to determine at the end of the day na, I'm free from work. I can relax.
yeah,
So I guess in terms of what I look forward to, it would be that feeling.
of
Since
finishing.
there's nothing, yeah, and eating, being able to enjoy my meals, the small things, I guess. So that greatly helps in terms of knowing how to think. Like if I'm
Mm,
in between work from home in and work from home out, then obviously I'd need to be on call. I'd need to respond to messages. But after that, I can be like, goodbye.
yeah.
Yeah.
So again,
But
the
in terms of
divide.
like divide. In terms of what happens after work though, I find that I'm less productive than how I would be on a normal like going to the office kind of day which I found surprising at the start
Yeah.
because obviously I don't have to commute to work, but I'm tired. I don't find I don't have the energy to do anything. So like usually on when I go to the office after office hours, I go home, I work out in the gym, or I go to yoga, I have dinner with friends, I have daily dates with
Yeah.
my fiance. So um even though I don't have to go through the traffic, I can't even find myself, like I can't find the energy in myself to do yoga at home, which is so
Mm.
frustrating for me because I feel like quarantine life is getting me fat and everything. So I just keep eating, not working out. Yeah, and
Wow.
I also can't like get myself to plan the wedding. Like now would be the perfect time. I have all the time in the
Yeah.
world to keep planning, get in touch with my suppliers. They probably need the business right now since I'm sure a lot of
Yeah.
weddings have been canceled. But I can't seem to bring myself to it. And then I realized that, we're all going through a crisis, a global crisis. So
Yeah.
it's okay to not be productive. It's okay to
Agree.
just cope, to
Yeah,
just
super
get through
agree.
the day.
And don't fall into the trap of, okay, I have to be productive. I have all this time. I have the have to. Yeah, the have. I agree with you. Like break
Yeah.
that notion, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Just yeah. So you are living since you're working from home, you're doing your work at home.
Yeah. I I currently live with my sister and my mom. So we live in
Okay.
a condo. So
Okay.
it's quite a small space. It's a one bedroom condo and there's three of us. So I guess that's where the challenges of working from home come in
How is it
because
like?
my
How is it different
mom,
now?
I guess I'm not used to spending so much time with them. Like
Okay.
I've never spent this much time with them. It's new to me, and it can get uncomfortable actually, like just because I'm not used to their presence like 24/7.
All the time.
Yeah, all the time. So it's a change. I feel like it's a bigger change, even like comparing it to working from home, like that time spent together with people you don't normally spend so much
Yeah.
time with. That's the change.
But how do you cope with it? How do you deal with it? Because you can't really go anywhere, literally.
Yeah.
But how do you
Well,
set your boundaries and deal with their
you
presence?
eventually get into the rhythm of it. Like, we have daily habits. So if we're working, we have to be conscious of our meetings because my mom's also working from home. So if she has calls, one has to be inside, one has to be outside. So it's we need coordination in that sense. Um, Outside of that, though, having like a spot for yourself would be
Mm,
very helpful. Like, my mom has the couch because she watches the TV, so my
mm,
sister would be lying elsewhere, and then I would be elsewhere, and then we just have our own space. So I guess that also helps that they're both introverts and I'm the only extrovert. So like they have like my sisters have earphones on and like doesn't have a care in the world anymore. And like just don't be, I guess it helps that I don't feel pressured to interact, like in that sense there's a bit of normalcy in life.
mm. Because you're in your zone, literally your own zone.
Yeah.
So like your
Hmm.
own your me time.
Yeah.
Okay. Aside from that struggle, now that it is a struggle living with them, what are the other things what are the other things that you deal with on a daily basis that you realize that is such a hassle now, or what else is different
It's such a
in
hassle to have to prepare all of my meals. Like Like I'm so thankful that my sister is there, that she cooks like lunch for us, and then I just help her with dinner. But I never thought that it would be this much of a hassle, because I'm so used to either like paon in the office, so I just have I don't need to cook every time I eat, or I
Yeah.
buy from outside, or I eat out. Then every dinner usually we usually eat out a lot, like so. So I don't have to like think about cooking, what to cook, and then washing the dishes, and even having to think
So
about
washing
like
the dishes.
washing the dishes. Or even having to think about what ingredients do I have here? What was I able to
Yeah,
buy in the grocery? So like that's yeah.
like a lot. That's why you're home. Now that you're spending more time at home.
Mm-hmm.
So the enhanced community quarantine is now extended to the end of the month, right? So
Mm-hmm.
what are like some of the reflections that you had or like lessons in the past 2 or 3 weeks during this whole quarantine?
I guess it's more of the reflection of like my social standing. Like I'm so grateful that I don't get like a cut in my pay, or that I even get paid, as opposed to a lot of my fellow countrymen out there. Like um seeing the news about people going out just because they can't eat, they need money in order to buy food. Like
Mm,
it really gives a fresh perspective. Like we've always known that the Philippines is an emerging market, it's a developing country.
yeah,
Um, but knowing that like this actually heightens that, so a lot of people like even like it gets closer to home, because like some people within your peer groups are actually like either connected to or know people who are going through that, or you know people who are going through that. So it makes it more of a reality, and not just oh, this is the Philippines, the Philippines is
yeah,
poor. It's a,
like
you
an
know, a
idea.
lot of, yeah, it's not just an idea,
Yeah,
it's right there in front of you. So I
it's
guess
happening.
that's, yeah, it's happening.
Okay, sorry. Okay, how how do you deal with um how did you deal with this quarantine the first time it happened, or like the first, yeah, like maybe the first few
First
weeks?
few, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it was chill lang.
Okay.
It
Hindi pa
was
nag-sink in?
easier, yeah, it was easier the first few days actually, because I was already working from home. Because even before the ECQ was like announced and was implemented, like if you remember, I wasn't in the office often, because there was a time where I had a cold, and I
Yeah.
felt that maybe given the scenario, I shouldn't be I shouldn't be out there.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, so I
Mm-hmm.
started working from home before anyone else, or before everyone else.
Yeah.
And then so I guess it was easier for me to adapt to the
Mm,
situation, because then I would be the only one home, or it's just me and my sister, and then suddenly my mom. So it was like a slow progression towards where we are now. Yeah, because my mom was still going to work until they really said that you have to work from home. So yeah,
so it was slow. It was a slow
yeah,
progression. At what point
it
did
was.
you realize na, oh wow, it when did it like hit you? When did you know na, oh, okay, this is my new reality now. This is my new normal now.
I guess a couple of days into ECQ, like when we have to decide who's gonna go to the grocery, what we have to buy,
Mm.
like those and when I started craving all of the restaurant foods that I would
As
normally
a
eat
foodie,
as a foodie. It's
yeah.
a struggle.
Good thing that some of them are open though, right? Are still
Yeah, and a lot of
delivering
them are opening, like a lot of them
soon
have been opening. Yeah,
in the past couple of days. Okay,
yeah.
So we've been talking about before quarantine, now during the quarantine. Let's talk about your hopes or expectations after the quarantine in terms of your work and your life in general.
In terms of my work, I guess nothing much about my work will change. Like, I mean, I'm still doing the same work as I did when I was in the office. But I guess it's seeing you guys, office mates.
Yay! Not just
That
on
would
screen.
be not just on screen. But it's also interesting seeing people on screen because then, like, you'd see how they are at home. Some
Yeah,
people don't take a bath.
the judgment or the background changes,
The background changes. You see, you hear the
the
tik tik
sound, my
tilaok.
fave.
You hear the dogs and the babies and the children. Yeah, I guess
One of
that
my
would
prayers.
be
Go.
the thing that would the thing that I'd look forward to more would be like the focus of being together as a group,
Mm,
because then that's something that, like, I mean, there's no, it doesn't affect the way we work right now, because in
mhm.
terms of the deliverables, like everything's being done, but in terms of the relationships that are being formed, I
Yeah,
guess that's what
I
I'm looking
agree.
forward to. Yeah.
Like, how is it
In
gonna
terms
be
of,
like?
yeah, I guess in terms of my personal life, what I would expect or what I look forward to would be the adjustment back to how productive I felt I was, and how I can go back to working out, hopefully. I mean, I know it's not going to be instant, but
Mm, of course.
like gradually getting back into the rhythm of things, and planning for the wedding. I mean, yeah.
Like really going back to like where you left off, kind of before.
Yeah,
Okay,
going back to my
interesting.
Excel files of my suppliers and cash
Finally opening
flows.
it, contacting them again. Aw. Okay. On our socials, we use this hashtag called Max Mediscarte. So these
Mm,
are like, tips, hacks, everyday things just to make life easier and but more
mm,
efficient. So do you have any Max Mediscarte tips that you can share with us that's really
mhm.
useful now that we're quarantined?
Sure. I guess I have like a couple I listed down since you requested for it.
Yes, these are the
Um,
hacks.
yeah. So, a couple would be, two would be grocery related, just because
Okay,
that's like
perfect.
what we all, at least not all, like what most of us would be like going through or struggling with, right?
Yeah,
So the, like, buying ingredients and what to buy. I mean, we already have that post, the quaranTIPS.
yeah.
um but I guess for me, like, when I go to the grocery, I would choose or look at ingredients that would have multiple ways of cooking it,
Mm,
just so that I don't have to have a fixed menu in my head coming into the grocery. Like, I can buy a lot of raw chicken, I can buy a lot of raw, like, ground beef, and then
mm,
seeing how I can cook those differently and then not limit myself in that sense. But
mm.
also the pre-packed stuff or the pre-marinated stuff are really great. Like, you could just throw
Ooh,
them into the throw them
okay,
into the pan and you're good.
I'm taking
um
notes.
for my breakfast, I eat a lot of oatmeal, so that's one of an example of that. So I eat it with peanut butter, I eat it with jam, I eat it with banana. So it's like just one ingredient, but if you mix it up with different, like, other multi-purpose
Ingredients.
ingredients, like, you can
Yeah.
have an a variety of a variety of flavors that, even though you're using the same ingredients, like, it would change things up, and it would
Yeah.
be something that we look forward to every morning.
Parang hindi siya paulit-ulit.
Yeah,
You
so
wouldn't
it
think
doesn't
it
get
is.
dull.
And also good grocery tip, like let's say you buy like 2 kilos of chicken
Hmm.
and just
And chicken that's easier to cook. So, like, if you can get the fillet, I mean, I know it's hard to find those now, but if
yeah,
you can get the fillets, that's easier.
there's no more
God
blood.
damn, I
Okay.
regret buying those drumsticks with bones. Hirap lutuin.
True. I think it's mas matagal.
Sobrang tagal. Tapos you don't know if it's cooked na, you have to cut it open.
To check, right?
Yeah, may dugo pa.
Okay, so those are your grocery tips to
Meron pa
buy.
isa sa
Okay.
grocery.
Okay,
Bring
go.
eco bags. They're washable. Save the earth. Disinfect. Oh, diba? Two birds
Mm.
with one stone.
Ang ganda nun. Ang ganda. Again, save the earth, disinfect. Guys,
Yes.
reminder to everybody when you go to the grocery, buy ingredients that you can cook many ways, in a lot of ways,
Use your
and
eco bag.
use your eco bag to
Yeah.
save the earth and disinfect after
Disinfect.
because it's washable.
So,
Okay,
paglabas
ang
ng
ganda.
groceries, diretsong washing machine na
Mm,
yung
alam nyo
eco
yan.
bag.
Kailangan disinfect. Okay. So those are your grocery tips. What else do you have?
Yeah. I have one finance tip. I mean, I
Perfect.
know I'm not one to give like a lot of finance tips given how I'm more privileged than most. But I guess just a gentle reminder to keep track of your bills, even though a lot of banks and providers are extending deadlines. You don't want to end up with like 2 or 3 months of bills all due at the same like 5 day window.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's a good reminder
so
actually for everyone too. If you have like the
yeah.
means, right?
If
I
you
know,
pay for it now,
yeah,
pay for it now. Don't wait for the deadline.
pay for it online.
Yes, online banking, way to go.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. If you have the means, because I know like all of a sudden your priorities change for most of us in terms
Mm,
of where you're gonna put the bulk of your money. So I agree, if you do have the means,
yeah,
you don't want it to
get it
pile
out
up,
of the way.
right? Like end of the month, your bills are gonna come in like maybe I don't know,
Mm.
double or triple the usual.
Oh my god.
I can't.
Don't wanna have to pay interest.
What a very Maxima discarded of you. But yeah, I agree. Because sometimes you just think, oh, okay, it's extended. Like, yeah, whatever. I'll just pay when the time
Mm.
comes.
It's like a problem for tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll
But
cross
then
the
tomorrow
bridge.
comes.
The bridge is here. Will I cross it na? All right.
Manunod na ako.
Ang ganda. So, thank you for sharing your Maxima discarded grocery tips and your Maxima
Finance
discarded
tips.
finance tips. So, yeah, that's it, Jess. Thank you so much for joining us today. And just to wrap it up, I would like to point out some things because I took notes. You hear?
Wow!
To those who are just listening, I took notes. Like one of the things that Jess said earlier in terms of creating boundaries at home, especially if you're living with your family. Well, first and foremost, setting boundaries for yourself and your work by as simple. I really like what you said about as simple as closing your laptop during lunch and eating, like just separating where you eat and where you work. Having that space is, I think that's really nice learning. And in terms of creating boundaries with your family, if anyone if listening is living with their family, to have like a space, even if it's a couch, even if it's just a chair, just your own space to have for yourself and to have your me time.
Call dibs.
Yeah, if there are limited chairs. And of course, the what you just heard her Jess's maximum discarte grocery related and finance tips. Oh my god, the bills! I can't. I think I'm reminded. So again, thank you so much, Jess, our campaign manager, for joining us today. Thank you to all the listeners who are listening on Spotify or watching us on YouTube. We hope you like this first episode of PodMax. And
Yay!
yeah, well, thank you so much. Thank you to everyone,
Thank
especially to our first
you.
guest, our first guest. And if you want to know more about Moneymax, please do follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and of course, hit that subscribe button on YouTube and give us a follow on Spotify as well, moneymax.ph. So again, thank you to Jess. Thank you to all our listeners. This has been Tara for PodMax, the Moneymax podcast for all things work, life, and finance. See you next time. Goodbye. Ito, record. Can you see if it's recording on your end?
Yes.
Oh my God! Jess, kinakabahan ako. Oh, nare-record to. Oh! Okay. Okay. Okay, ready? Ang daming ready. Hala. Okay. Ang dami ko. Jess!
Mukhang mas nervous pa yung host kaysa sa guest.
Yes, kasi... Okay, game.